Anybody have one of those here? They're all right, but you have to be careful with those because that thumb can get too floppy. So the single break mitt is a recommended mitt for you. Let's see what we got to talk about here. Giving the stance. Getting set to hit. Why don't you bring your bat with you and come on up here a second. I want to get as close to this batter as I can. Get up like you're ready to hit. I want to get as close to this batter as I can. There are some reasons why I want to do this. Number one, if he hits a foul tip, well, I have a better chance of catching it cleanly. If a ball's in the dirt, I have a better chance of getting it. I'm about 62 feet from the front of the pitcher's rubber right here. If I get back too far, I'm 64 feet back. Ball goes in the dirt up there, I get an in-between hop, I got problems. So I can handle that low curve, handle balls in the dirt better, and the foul tips I'm on top of a little bit better. Plus the fact, if somebody steals second, I'm that much closer to second base here as I would be here. You know what's a good idea? If you happen to get a take signal, your coach gives you a take signal, man on first, and the steal is also on. In other words, he wants that runner to steal second before you swing a bat. What could you do as a batter? You got to take. What can you do as far as in that batter's box?
In the bat.
What'd you say?
Move back.
Move back as far as you can. Because if he moves back, who else has got to move back? I got to move back. And I got to throw a longer distance to second base. So it's something to keep in mind. All right, a basic rule you would follow is just about arm's length. This is my position behind him. But after that, you can make adjustments. Some guys take short strokes, and you can get right up on them. Some guys take long strokes, and it's a different story. Let's change positions. You be a catcher, and I'll be the hitter. Okay, now what we're going to do is, let's turn around this way so everybody can see. The short stroke hitter is right in here. And the short stroke hitter, got a lot of hip action, his hands just go from here, he pops the bat. Man, you can get right up on me on that. The long stroke hitter, you might have his hands away from him a little bit, and as he swings, his bat takes a longer arc around, so I got to look out for him. Some other people you got to look out for, I'm getting too close to the batter, would be the guy that steps back before he starts forward. Very bad habit for a hitter, but he might get on first base quite a bit because he gets catcher interference because his bat hits the mitt. So you got to look out for the different hitters. If you get called on catcher's interference, your mitt hit the bat, you better take a check and find out what his number is, register it in your mind, and the next time he comes to the plate, move back a little bit from him. But you'll get the feel of it. You want to get as close behind the batter as you can, but you certainly don't want to give away any catcher's interferences. So check the type of swing that they have. Okay, thank you. Giving signals. From this position here, I'm ready to give my signal. I like for the mitt to be below the knee. Up here, you already got the knee protecting view from the third base coach. With the mitt down here, I can prevent that third base coach from picking up the signal from below my knee. Another thing you need to look out for, a lot of catchers do, is they have this right knee way out. First base coach just picked up your signal. He just gave a verbal signal to the batter, and all day long, everybody knows what in the world the pitcher's throwing. So be sure this right knee is in. I like for you to point the right knee at where the second baseman would play, and that will keep the knee in where the first base coach certainly can't pick up the signal. From here, you would want to give your signal. Fingers, fist, open hand, wavy, whatever. It's also a good idea for location, because you want the pitcher to know what you're thinking as far as where you want that fastball. So you give location in addition to the signal. It's also a good idea. Some of you guys got no interest at all in catching, but you might be second baseman, shortstop, center fielder. You want to know what pitch is coming so you can anticipate a little bit better. If you're a third baseman, you would like to know, maybe you can get a signal from the shortstop who picked up the signal, you would like to know when the changeup is coming to a real good right-handed hitter. You really would like to know. That way you could adjust your cup and you can get set a little bit better, because you might just be getting a real screamer down there. So the signals for location will help the whole ball club, in addition to just your signal as whether you want a fastball, curveball, slider, what have you. So a lot of you think that this is the stance for catching. Here you are, blah, 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 blah. Fire it here, kid. This is not it. You don't have any mobility like this. This is the stance you use for giving the signals. After you've given the signal, then you're going to pop out of your stance. You're going to be in a position kind of like this. Feet are about shoulder width apart. My right foot's back just a little bit because I'm going to be turning that way. But I don't want it back too far because now I don't have use of my upper body. See, I haven't fronted the ball. I'm in a little better position here. I'm giving a good target, and my meat hand, when there is somebody on base, my meat hand would be, I like it behind the mitt. Back here, it takes too long when somebody's on base. Nobody's on base. You want to keep the meat hand back there, you can. Notice how my feet are really kind of flat here. I'm not up on my heels. I have my weight on the balls of my feet, but my heels are resting on the ground. I'm still mobile, but my heels are resting on the ground. Some of you maybe have never done this before with this stance right here. And the first few times you try it, you're going to feel it pulling a little bit along the Achilles tendon because you're used to this. But I think you're better off having your feet on the ground, because in this way you save your muscles of your legs so that by the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, your legs are still strong. It'll take a little bit of stretching out to get those the Achilles tendon stretched out to the point where you can handle that, but you want your heels resting on the ground. Don't be catching a whole game like that, because if you're doing that, your legs got to be tired by the 3rd or 4th inning. Meat hand, as I said, keep it behind the mitt. Like to bring it in. If you can, bring it in so the back of your hand is facing the pitcher. As you're bringing it in, the back of your hand is facing the pitcher. That way, if you get hit by a foul tip, like so, everything gives. It's no big problem. It's going to hurt a little bit, but everything gave. If you get a hit by a foul tip like this, now you got problems. You're going to shatter bones all up and down your fingers, hand, and wrist. So try to keep a slightly closed fist. When I first was catching as a youngster, somebody taught me to have a fist so you don't hurt your fingers. Well, a hard fist like that didn't do you any good, because you get hit by a foul tip and everything would shatter, maybe all the way up to the elbow, because everything was too tight. Keep it nice and loose. Keep it nice and loose. So you have your signal stance, and then you have your ready stance. And I'm guessing that a lot of y'all are going to have to keep reminding you to get into your ready stance. Anytime there's somebody on base, and I would say also, anytime there's 2 strikes on the hitter, I'd like for you to be able to react. Why? Because that third pitch, if it's a curve in the dirt out here and the batter goes after it, I want to be able to block it. Sit up over there, please, sport. If you would like, and I like this more and more now, with nobody on base, you guys seen a bunch of them do it. Pena does it. He's a regular acrobat. He can get all the way down here. There's no daylight at all through his crotch. But a good low target like this not only gets the pitcher to keep things down, and basically pitchers want to keep things around the knees. Every now and then they want to go up the ladder on a hitter, but basically you stay out of trouble down here. You want to stress that your pitcher keep it low. If you're in a position like this where you got one knee down, the other leg stretched out a little bit, you can get a nice low target. Also gives the umpire a real good look at the knees. And so with nobody on base, this is not a bad idea. Maybe experiment with it a little bit. That's the ready position. Okay, from that ready position, we will talk a little bit about footwork. Now, a little bit later in the session, we will, about a week from now, we'll have drills. First and second choice drills. And a lot of you people that are going to be catchers will get to work on a lot of drills. What we're going to talk about now is footwork on a throw to second. Pitcher pitches it, and you've got to get yourself in position to throw. Just like an infielder, just like an outfielder, like a pitcher, you've got to get your feet lively to the point where you're ready to throw, or else you're going to have a bad throw. Your lousy throws are caused by lazy feet. Lousy throws are caused by lazy feet. So a catcher has to be ready to react for where the ball's going to be. Now, let's say a ball comes over here. What foot? My right foot or my left foot should be my first step?
Right.
Remember, I wanted to get my belt buckle in front of that ball if I could. So if it's over here, it would be with my right. If a ball's over here, my first step would be with my left. First reaction. Now for your footwork, anything close to around the strike zone, I like for catchers to work on something called a jump shift. And in a jump shift, basically all the catcher's doing is just repositioning his feet, and he does it very quickly. So anything that's a strike or a couple inches to this side of the strike zone, a couple inches to this side of the strike zone, the catcher would be in a position to jump shift. In other words, right like that. He did it really quickly. He did it really quickly. He did it right in his tracks. He's not coming up trying to chase down the runner going to second base, because there's no way he's going to beat him on his feet. He's going to have to get in position to throw the ball. And it's a jump shift. And we'll work on this when we get catchers together on first, second choice drills and other things. Sit up, please. So, if a ball's somewhere in the strike zone, you would think jump shift. If the ball's out here, young catchers like to just step out, little crow hop. That didn't take long. Didn't even notice it maybe. And then I throw from there. Now, one reason I like the little crow hop is because we wanted to get the feet gathered. We want this back leg to be bent, remember? Back leg bent. So a ball to the right, and you're ready. A ball at you, jump shift. A ball to your left. First step is with which foot?
Left.
Okay, now your next step is just kind of like a jump shift. You're going to bring your right foot back behind your left foot, and you're in a position to throw. So the ball, anywhere from here to here, every time I got myself turned in a position to throw, back knee bent. Once again, lousy throws are caused by lazy footwork. So you need to work on it. Now you tell yourself, what I saw on television the other night, and I saw this catcher in the major leagues, all he does is just give the target. He looks like he's half asleep, and he catches it there. Then he gives the target over here, and he's not even in a ready position, and he just catches it there. But I'll tell you that most major league pitchers have pretty good control. They can afford to get a little lazy. Catchers can afford to get a little lazy. You guys have played for 3 days now. How do you rate the control of your pitching staffs, you catchers? You don't know where the hell the ball's going sometimes. Anytime there's a base runner or 2 strikes on the hitter, you've got to condition yourself to expect a wild pitch on every pitch. It's tough to do because you get tired after a while and you want to get lazy, just like you see a lot of major league catchers do. And if you make it to the major leagues, you'll be able to do it too. You'll be able to get a little bit lazy because your pitcher's got a little bit better control. Yeah?
How do you get in front of a ground ball that hops right before you...
A ball in the dirt?
Yeah, ball in the dirt.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. But the basic footwork, ball to this side, your first step is here. Ball to this side, your first step is here. So we go right back to when you were playing catch. You can practice the first reaction. It's important which foot you step with first. So for footwork, we'll work on that. Ball's in the dirt. Basically, get down on 2 knees. Get down on 2 knees. If you see it's going to be in the dirt, for the most part, you want to get down right away. You got a little gap here you got to cover up. The mitt goes in there. The knees are about shoulder width. And I want to lean forward slightly. My throat protector's down here. And chances are if I lean forward and I'm squared in front of that pitch, I'm going to be able to handle it. A good rule to follow on balls in the dirt: don't let the ball get under you. If a pitcher throws you a 48-foot fastball, I would rather you be right down here. Maybe that thing will skim in and you'll be able to block it. Maybe it'll hit something and go 15 feet over your head. But if you stay low and don't let the ball get under you, you're better off as a catcher. That's a good rule to follow. I saw a couple of catchers on balls in the dirt yesterday. They were going down for it and then starting to come up as the ball went into the dirt. Well, sometimes that ball's going to skim right under you. You can handle anything keeping it from getting under you, and that's what you should do. Don't let a ball get by you, under you. Now with balls in the dirt to a little bit to this side, remember your step to this side, your first steps with this foot here. Well, if the ball's in the dirt there, I won't hurt myself doing this. If the ball's in the dirt there, I actually step to get my belt buckle in front of it, but I go right to my knees. So I step not to my feet, but to my knees, and I've got it blocked. Breaking pitches, balls in the dirt. You got to look out for these. Breaking pitches, balls in the dirt. Basic rule is that a curveball breaks one way in the air. When it hits, it'll come back the other way. Breaks one way in the air. When it hits, it comes back the other way. All right, I see this time and time again. A curveball, way the hell out here. The catcher starts to get out. He doesn't get too far because he was lazy. He got this far. The ball hit, came right back in. Way to go, Johnny. Nice block. Well, whether Johnny knew it or not, that ball was going to break back into him, and he was going to be able to block that curveball. Because it's coming this way in the air, hit, come back into you. That's a right-hander's curve. Okay, now Johnny had better be ready for this curveball that's in the dirt over here. That's a right-hander's curveball. It's breaking that way in the air. When it hits, it goes out. I'll guarantee you, a good many of your pass balls and wild pitches are fastballs here, right-hander's fastballs here, or any fastball to the right backhand side, or curveballs to this side, right-hander's curveballs to this side. Because Johnny really has to get over. If he gets over to here, that's not good enough, because that ball's coming in and it's going to go off even farther. He has to really corral it. Overreact to balls, curveballs in the dirt. Overreact to them. Every now and then you'll get a fastball that'll be in the dirt right here. It's no big deal. You can handle that. You can pick it clean. But the curveball that's in the dirt, that's a different story. You've got to overreact to that. Be sure you block it. Don't let a ball get under you. A couple of other things, then I'll open up for a couple of questions, and then we'll break it up. What was I going to talk about? Backing up. A lot of catchers think that this is their territory, this is their job, and they just stay here. But anytime there's a ground ball to the infield and nobody's on base, you've got a backup responsibility. That is deep to the out-of-bounds area. If there's a ground ball to shortstop, and I were to run down to that first base coach's box, turn around and look where that first base coach's box is, am I a real effective backup man on a wild throw? No. I belong all the way back at the out-of-bounds line, right by the dugout. So don't just run to first. Run wide. Run to the out-of-bounds line or to the dugout. That's what you've got to protect. Now, 98% of the time that you go down there, it was wasted. But that 2% of the time, you're going to be needed on overthrows. And you can actually keep a ball from going out of play. And that's well worth it. Because you got nothing better to do anyway. Might as well go down there. That's why some of you catchers may not like little sinker ball pitchers. They serve up maybe 24 ground balls in a game. That means you got 24 sprints down there, and then you got to jog back. So you've got backup responsibilities. Not only do you have backup responsibilities, but you know that pitcher out there? Every now and then he gets a little bit scatterbrained. He's concentrating on pitches and other things. And there's a man on first base and a base hit to right field or base hit to center field. Where does that pitcher go?
Back up third base.
Possible play at third, so he needs to back up third base. Every now and then he needs reminding. He needs a boot in the ass every now and then, right? So get him over there. Another situation that comes up, bunt situation. Man on first. Bunt situation. Bunter puts a good bunt down third base line. Third base comes in, fields the bunt. Goes to first with it. They got a good sacrifice. Who's in charge of covering third base?
Catcher.
Catcher is in charge of covering third base. Now, you take that back. Now, if there's a bunt down that area and the pitcher fields that bunt, it's the third baseman's responsibility to hurry up and get back. Once he sees he's not fielding a bunt, he's charging for the bunt. Once he sees he's not fielding the bunt, he needs to turn and get back to third base. And every now and then the catcher has to kick him in the ass too to get him back to third base. So there's a lot of leadership that goes with catching and actually positioning your club. Everybody's looking at you. You're the ideal leader on that club. All 8 of your teammates are looking in at you. And so you need to assume that responsibility. Any questions about fielding bunts, pop-ups? Yeah.
If you bunt and then catcher runs to third, who covers home?
Or the pitcher's around there, or the third baseman's around there. There are plenty of people around there. That's only if there's another wild throw that you have to worry about that. But that's a good question. You need to, yeah, those two guys are around here. They're probably hanging around here picking their nose. They'll be close enough to be here. But your first responsibility on a bunt with a man on first base, if the third baseman fields the ball, or if for some reason is too stupid or dumb or forgets to get back to third, it's the catcher's responsibility to cover third base. Any other questions on catching? Pop-ups, fielding bunts, signals. I'll get right back for a minute on the idea that all 8 of your teammates are looking at you. Now, one thing that I want to see in this camp for the next 2 weeks is hustling catchers. Because the personality of a club, the makeup of a club is reflected by its catcher. And if between innings, you're taking your time, getting your equipment on, and you're dragging out here to home plate area, and getting all set, and everything's going with a slow tempo, you're lazy, you look like you're not enjoying yourself, that's a reflection on your whole club. That you really do assume a lot of leadership when you are a catcher. So I get back to the fact that you don't need a lot of foot speed. You do need a little bit of quickness as far as upper body quickness and getting rid of the ball. You need a fairly strong arm. You need to be smart, and you need to hustle. And if you can fit those bills, then you ought to be a good catcher, and you ought to give yourself a shot at becoming a catcher. Yeah?
On a pop-up behind home plate, and it's a catcher's eye. Is there a certain way the ball comes down?
Yes. Anytime the ball is popped up, what does that mean? It means the bat was under the ball. If it went up, if it was hit here, it'd go out that way. But if it's popped up, it means there's a spin imparted. And that spin will give the effect of the ball coming back in toward the infield. So we'll just talk about catching basically. The pop-up goes up, you're not sure where it is, but you take the mask off. You don't flip the mask. Why do I not flip the mask? Might trip over it, okay? If I turn around and here's the damn mask and I'm on my nose and the ball drops right there. So keep hold of the mask, search the sky, you pick up the ball. Okay, now toss that mask out of the way and allow for the ball to come right back into your nose. Right back into your nose. And allow for the ball to be coming back toward the infield. The only way I could ever figure out how to handle pop-ups was if the pop-up looked like it was going to land here, I'd get maybe about here. And sure enough, it would come back in. if the pop-up was way the hell up in the air, and it looked like it was going to land there, the higher it was, the more I would allow it to come back into me. Sure enough, it would come back in. Back in those no-break mitts. When you guys go eat lunch today, you look at the picture, Ted Williams getting, you know, when you get your tray, look at the catcher's mitt. That's a no-break mitt. They were really tough to handle. All they had was that little pocket right in there. And so they used to teach us, catchers, this is how we catch pop-ups. Palm up. That way, if it bounced around, you still had a chance to field it. Now that you got catcher's mitts that are like first baseman's mitt, you can just take them in real easily. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes, it still will. It still will. The best rule I follow, the front of home plate has a line. This is for your high pop-up. If the pop-up's not too high, anybody that can get to the ball, get it. But if there's a good high pop-up, catchers, you need help. Every now and then you have to buy an extra 6-pack of Pepsi Cola for your first baseman and your third baseman, because they need to come in and help you out. Anytime there's a pop-up in front of home plate, that would be anywhere this side of home plate, first baseman or third baseman ought to come in, and that ought to be their ball, because they've got an angle on the ball. They've got an angle on the pop-up. Man, when that thing goes straight up, you really don't know exactly where that ball is. You just don't have that good angle. So you get help from those guys. They come in and help you out, you treat them right, and you buy them a Pepsi Cola or something after the game. Say, thanks a lot for covering for me there. Because that is their ball. But you can look awfully bad if you have to go into fair territory, handling that ball, coming back into fair territory and making the catch. It's a whole lot easier for the first baseman or the third baseman. Question?
What's the way of making a tag?
Making a tag. Don't mix it up. Most catchers are big